Good morning and welcome to Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Today, the 10th day of November 2023. Today is Friday, and the time is 2 minutes past the hour of 7. It's time for newspaper headlines on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. This morning, we are going to take you through the news, making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers. But before we do that, let's go for a short break. When we come back, we'll continue on the stories making the headlines. Please stay with us.
Do you know that you have the right to quality broadcasting? The National Broadcasting Commission says any person, group of persons, or organization aggrieved by the content of a broadcast or the conduct of a broadcast station may lodge a complaint to the station and all right to the Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, number 20, Ibrahim Taiwo Street, Asokoro, Abuja, or send a mail via info@nbc.gov.ng. Please ensure that your complaint includes name of the broadcast station, title of the program, date and time of broadcast, and essence of the complaint. Also, remember to include your name, address, telephone number, email, and append your signature. Note that your complaint must reach the NBC within 14 days of the queried broadcast. NBC, your right to quality broadcasting.
You're welcome back to newspaper headlines on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. This morning, we are going to take you through the news, making the headlines on the Guardian newspaper, Leadership, Vanguard, Punch, Daily Post, Sun, The Nation, This Day, and if time permits, we're also going to take a look at the Nigerian Tribune. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080-96661035. You can as well join us on Facebook as we're live at Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Drop your comment on the comment section of the link of the live video. You can equally stream us online via mixlr.com/gistfm. I am Martin. Let's get started with the Guardian newspaper this morning. Decision day in Imo, Bayelsa, Kogi, INEC affirms readiness. Defense headquarters uncovers plots to cause mayhem. Afenifere's rift deepens as Fashoranti plays Adebanjo over attack on Supreme Court. Akpabio asks Tinubu to sack disobeying appointees. How Russia-Ukraine crisis impacted Nigeria's crude exports by NNPCL. Castana governor condemns terrorist killings. Reps summons FIRS. Others moves to check powers of CBN governor. Nyesom Wike remains my principal, says Governor Fubara. Sanwo-Olu, Saleh, Onyema pitch Nigerian opportunities in Morocco, while Ogoni struggle yielded no result by Nane, Mite, others. Patriots seek new constitution, accept Tinubu's presidency. Stakeholders demand a credible polls from INEC security agencies. Afghan crisis, court gives INEC Oye 14 days to resolve contempt charge. Muslim group partners with UNHCR to raise 500 million naira for internally displaced persons. Report on state of the church unveiled. Enugu launches water sector law 19 years after. Federal government considers tech incubation centers for 6 zones. BATNF hosts dialogue on agriculture. Police present 42 million naira checks to deceased officers' families in Castana. Nigeria-China ties encourage cultural exchange, says Abbas. Nigeria launches first interconnected mini grid. Cross River okays Okham for 2023 Calabar Carnival. Pro-Biafra group condemns blackout in Imo, indicts Ajero. Obaseki's 7th anniversary excites Edo residents as government showcases achievements. group moves to introduce chairs to correctional homes. Western Naval Command launches operation to improve security. University of Ibadan, EDURES, partner on online professional courses. ASR Africa begins construction of 120 units of housing quarters for Army. Group 6 Economic Revival via Agriculture. APC explains delay in conduct of primaries for by-elections. Bolt Food to exit Nigeria in December. Picked health commissioners to brainstorm in Ekiti. Kaduna hosts career fair to address unemployment November 23. Tinubu appoints a presidential aide on disability matters. Governor Lawal alleges influx of bandits from neighboring states into Zamfara. Belt Road Initiative foster Nigeria-China cultural exchange, says Abbas. APC chieftain Mosu laments plight of Imo citizens due to blackout. Work begins at collapse Enugu Bridge as Mba Umaye inspects site. Oyedepo, Kenoli, orders to unveil Ark of Light for all nation cathedral. Oyedepo, Kenoli, orders to unveil Ark of Light for all nation cathedral. NITP tax federal government on implementation of innovative, sustainable environmental policies. National Assembly support group Lords Abbas Bishi for passage of people-oriented supplementary budget. APC moves to honor Tinubu, Buhari, governors, National Assembly members on governance, food security. Federal government commences nationwide dry season production activities. APC explains delay in conduct of primaries for by-election. Human Rights Writers Association expresses concern over Federal High Court verdict on Governor Mba's NYSC certificate. First Lady enjoys military to tackle security challenges in Nigeria. Nigeria committed to take up of new UNESCO Institute, Idris. Lagos to create 5,000 jobs with Fourth Mainland Bridge. NAFDAC allows a public to defective HIV test kits. Court jails 6 for circulating nude video of former Osun speaker. Federal government targets 80% reduction of unemployment rate. DSS warns against inflammatory statements in Imo, Bayelsa, Kogi elections. DSS warns against inflammatory statements in Imo, Bayelsa, Kogi elections. PDP warns APC against rigging Bayelsa, Imo, Kogi elections. Tinubu attends Saudi Africa Summit in Riyadh. And that's the much we can take from the Guardian newspaper this morning. And from the Guardian newspaper, we'll flip over to Leadership newspaper. National Assembly establishes Diaspora Liaison Office, assures of beneficial laws. Bayelsa, Kogi, Imo, stay clear. PDP wants election riggers. Reps set benchmark on oversight function, lawmaking. Others. Wike Tax House Committee on speedy passage of bills. 60 billion naira allocating more funds to car purchase than primary health care is troubling. Ubi, 60 billion naira allocating more funds to car purchase than primary health care is troubling. Ubi, Imo, come out and vote. Ohaneze youths tell voters. Kogi, Apoti, Udwana urge to support Udodo. Tinubu warns varsities against arbitrary fees hike. Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway will be built with concrete. Umahi. Troops kill 113 terrorists, arrest 300, rescue 91 hostages. National Assembly establishes Diaspora Liaison Office with taken days. Still on the stories making the headlines on the Leadership newspaper this morning. Lawmakers probe maltreatment of Nigerians in Benin Republic. No faction in petroleum tanker Drivers Union, Lupeng. Fintechs should enhance user safety, trust. PalmPay, Hears General Insurance offers 100,000 naira fuel vouchers, airtimes to policyholders. Federal government begins countrywide dry season farming. FEM to key into $40.80 billion African e-commerce market. Revenue agencies remit 14.38 trillion naira to Federation accounts in 2 years. NEITI. Over Saudi UBA. Saudi Exim Bank partner to enhance business relations, export growth. Supplementary budget, not incentive. Federal government replies Obi. 5.1 million voters decide Kogi Imo Bayasa's future. Airlines orders count losses as labor lockdown Imo Abuja airports. Kokori down with kidney ailment, 6 treatment abroad. Nigeria, Saudi Arabia sign memorandum of understanding for oil, gas sector corporation. Customs to evacuate 6,000 overtime cargoes from seaport. Wike remains my principal, says Fubara. Caleb Foundation set to begin education, widow support, outreach in rural communities. 2026 World Cup. Pissarro invites Okoye, Boniface, 21 others for Lesotho, Zimbabwe clashes. Zamfara governor swears in local government sole administrator, charges them to uphold rescue mission principles. Wike Fubara meet again as governor says FCT minister remains his principal. Why? Okay. SDGs, FinTech, Artificial Intelligence Hackathon Conference hosts December 5th. Bravo Whale launches a complete free spin, the whale beta experience. Google rolls out generative artificial intelligence in sub-Saharan Africa, November 8th. Google rolls out generative artificial intelligence in sub-Saharan Africa, November 8th. Imo PDP celebrates Ugochinyere on legal victory at appeal court. Utilize social media to better yourself, society. Okechukwu advises youths. Imo PDP, we've taken this. Bishi is the best for appropriation committee in 10th National Assembly, says Ohaneze, Arewa youths. Group Hill Speaker Abbas, Bishi over supplementary budget passage. Navy deploys gunboats, helicopters, orders against maritime crime in Lagos. And that's the much we can take from the leadership newspaper this morning. Still on the stories making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers this morning from the leadership newspaper, we'll flip over to Vanguard newspaper. Afenifere Fashoranti differs with Adebanjo on Supreme Court verdict. Ex-Nupeng scribe Kokori struggles for life in Delta Hospital. Amnesty International, Falana, others tax media on human rights abuses. National Association of Nigerian Students, NAOSS to Ogun government, reverse school fees hike. Afenifere, we've taken this. Supreme Court, vacant seats, expectations, politics, dangers. Infrastructure. Governor Abiodu asks capital market to partner federal government, states. European refiners prefer Nigeria's crude oil. NNPC. Kaigama to Palestinian envoy on Israel-Hamas war. Two-state solution, only path to peace. Federal government force Obi's claim on supplementary budget. Still on the stories making the headlines on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Apapa's faction loses bid to replace Labour Party candidate Achono in Imo. Police deploys 25,565 personnel for Imo Guba. Iwanyamu, Imo elders ask Imolites to go out and vote. Resist actions that will undermine democracy. IPAC urges voters in Imo. Release of Nnamdi Kanu will reduce tensions across Nigeria. PDP shifting. Bayelsa poll. Women besiege police headquarters. Demand Commissioner of Police removal. Non-violence election. Fire any appointee who declined National Assembly's invitation. Akpabio urges Tinubu. Ignore EPA's IPOB. Go out, vote. Ohaneze tells Imo youth. Off-season elections. Candidates conclude campaigns optimistic of victory. What do you think of federal government's fresh request for 7 point? Okay, still on the stories making the headlines on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Israel agrees to 4-hour pauses in Gaza. US. Murder of suspected bandits informant sparks controversy in Castina. That's the much we can take from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And from the Vanguard newspaper, we'll flip over to the Punch newspaper. You remain my leader. Fubara banters with Wike. Benin not contesting Toji Island with Nigeria. Abiodun. Cervical cancer kills 28 Nigerian women daily. Pirates extort Akwa Ibom fishermen, collect 600,000 naira monthly. Rep. Federal government solicits a foreign aid to resettle Benue internally displaced persons. Federal government solicits foreign aid to resettle Benue internally displaced persons. Buhari's government didn't tackle insecurity properly. Defense minister, only true federalism will end Nigeria's woes. Group. Police plan Mexico training for special squad commanders. Fashoranti, Adebanjo's Afeniferes factions clash over Supreme Court verdict. Reps move against fake anti-malaria drugs. Boko Haram commanders, weapons, now military's main target, defense headquarters. Sanwo-Olu woos investors at African Business Forum. Bandits kill 11. Rosto 300 animals in Sokoto attack. Court hears Makinde's objection to Oyo Kingmaker suit December 14th. Edo 2024. Another female Labour Party aspirant joins race. Group urges federal government to prioritize cocoa over petrol for economic recovery. Lagos state government meets club owners over noise pollution. Prison congestion. Lagos CJ lifts ban on remand orders. Fourth mainland bridge to create 5,000 jobs. Commissioner. 5,000 NDDC foreign scholarship applicants take test. Ogun Council elect guest certificate. Multi-billion naira Ibom Science Park project rusts away. Niger Delta Oyo Community Chairman presents one-year report of SACCO polls. INEC assures voters of fair, credible elections. Non-governmental organization unveils home for ex-female inmates. Off-season polls. Federal government tackles labor over strike. Unions disrupt Imo flights. ERA. FOEN. ERA 6 completion of Bayelsa Community Bridge. O2 6 increased security deployment in Cross River. Protesting Pengassen alleges anti-labor practice in oil firms. Prioritize people-friendly policies, Church tells Tinubu. Niger Delta monarchs back Ndiomo, PAP administrator. That's the much we can take from the Punch newspaper this morning. From the Punch newspaper, we'll flip over to Daily Post newspaper. Yobe local government flags off school enrollment drive. Yobe government receives a report on private schools policy compliance. Delta governor promises patronage of competent indigenous contractors. Ekiti ready to host 64th National Council on Health. Nigeria's major problem is docile citizens. Pat Otomi. Enugu collapse bridge. Work commences as Governor Mba Umahi inspect site. NLC, TUC strike. Stay away from aviation. Kiamo warns organized labor. Court voice law denying tax debtors right of appeal. Internally displaced persons. Federal government begs for help as humanitarian crisis rocks Benue. Israel agrees to 4-hour military ceasefire in Gaza, White House. Northern elders are worried over Dangote Rabi fight. Bayelsa Guba Pool. Protesters storm police headquarters, demand removal of commissioner of police. That's the much we can take from the Daily Post newspaper this morning. And from the Daily Post newspaper, we'll flip over to the Sun newspaper. Southeast traditional rulers, religious leaders tax INEC on credible polls in Imo. Reframing Tinubu's development agenda through diplomacy. Rumpus over 57.6 billion naira National Assembly members SUVs. Sorrow tears as Labour pickets Abuja Imo airports. Kalo defeats PDP's Owabunwa at appeal court. Paul, irregular salary obstacle to rent to own scheme. Okoro. Paul, irregular salary obstacle to rent to own scheme. Okoro. Panic in Plateau as youths plan grand protests in Jos over judgments today. Senator Kalu defeats PDP's Moa at appeal court. Petitioner slapped with fine. Federal government lays foundation in Benue, begins construction of resettlement homes for internally displaced persons. Imo poll. Ignore any sit-at-home order. Ohaneze tells Imo people. Nigerians hungry. CHRICED. I have been abandoned to die. Kokori cries out. Imo Guba, don't hire yourselves out to politicians as thugs. Group tells Imo youths. President Bola Tinubu arrives in Riyadh for Saudi Africa Summit. Supplementary budget. Tinubu's government on caring, insensitive, P2B. Federal Polytechnic. Bauchi commences degree in mass communication. 4 others. Passengers, workers stranded as labor blocks entrance into Abuja airport. Imo has lost 500 billion naira to Ajero's strike, group alleges. Google brings generative artificial intelligence to search in Africa. Nasarawa area court judges appeals to newly appointed attorney general for legal reforms. Bauchi police arrest 2 as man is shot dead following botched sham testing. Edo governor's wife to drag council chairman to court for marginalizing female vice. Imo Guba, Sonny Nduku, raises alarm over threat to life. Ezulezu Mbise endorses PDP gubernatorial candidate Senator Samuel Nnemeka Anyanwu. Political parties reject appeal court judgment on Plateau reps Senate elections. Abuja and Lagos Continental Hotels win top CSR award. Enugu set for business investment. Mba assures American investors. Others. Niger Delta will witness monumental development under Tinubu Chetima. Kaduna Governor Uba Sani set to resettle southern Kaduna communities displaced by bandits. Adeleke enrolls 19,000 pensioners into free health insurance. Alleged murder. Court remands former council chairman in Rivers. Plateau citizens protest appeal court judgment. Says justice not served. FCT Reps tax wiki on security revenue generation. Benue, police arrest 2 for brutalizing pastor over alleged pennies theft in Makodi. That's the much we can take from the Sun newspaper this morning. Are still on the stories making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers this morning from the Sun newspaper. Will flip over to the Nation newspaper. How to achieve Sena society by experts. Yoruba in diaspora to Tinubu eradicate poverty. Fairness of justice is more important than tribe, region, says a retired judge. African Development Bank launches $20 billion desert to power initiate for Sahel zone. African Development Bank launches $20 billion desert to power initiative for Sahel zone. UBA, Saudi Exim Bank partner on export growth. Reps probe abandonment of Oshobo Steel, NMT. Military adopts gender policy to protect women, children during conflicts. First Lady urges armed forces to encourage more women for enlistment. Tinubu appoints ISA as aid on people with disability matters. Canadian visa application centers remain open, says High Commission. Still on the stories making the headlines on the Nation newspaper this morning. Inspector General of Police deploys 14 AIGs, 26 Commissioner of Police in major checkup. Abandoned housing projects. Federal government to summon developers, contractors. You are still listening to newspaper headlines on Airborne at the 103.5 FM. We'll now go for a short break. When we'll come back, we'll continue on the stories making the headlines on the Nation newspaper. Please stay with us.
Officer Monkomatus is in Lagos, is Abuja, is Anambra, Tidekwe Enugu. Any hotel mmadụ gị anọ dị n'ime eze.
Nwanne ka efe na-adọka sekwandu ka introduce you to the Nigerian hotel chain, Residency Hotels. Ịtọcha down na Lagos, ị ga-achụfa na Lagos International Airport Road, or ị bịa na Lekki Phase 1, or ị chụọfa na Lekki Osapa London, Lagos. Ịtụọ down na Abuja, nwanne Residency nọ na Area 11 Garki, ọ nọkwa na Guzape, n'ọkwa na Utako, Abuja. Ịbanye Owerri onye m chụọfa na Port Harcourt Road, Owerri. Onweze ka isi banye na Anambra, chai nwanne na-edo m ozugbo na nwanne ịchụbịa na Ogidi na Anambra State. Ibugharịtazi abata na Enugu State 7/8 Northwest Street, Independence Layout. You enjoy the luxurious furnished rooms and suites. Restaurants are okay. They have cool sides here and there and outside door bar where you are entertained with drinks brewed in different parts of the world. You can also book and pay online at tiptopgo.com or www.myresidencyhotel.com.
One open hotel, Residency Hotel, all the way.
ị na-achọbe ị ga-anọ mee emume agbamafọ gị, agbamakwụkwọ, agbamnkwụ ka ọ bụ ogige ebe ị ga-anọ kpọkọba lọnchin nyaba achụmnta ego, semina, nkụzi maọbụ ọmụmụ ihe. Ngwa esogbuzina onwe gị maka na Chime Hall Ọrọfịa Abagana bụ ose anyere nsogbu gị. Chime Hall Ọrọfịa Abagana bụ hall nke a rụsiri ike n'ụdị ọgbara ọhụrụ. N'ime Chime Hall ị ga-ahụ ọmalịcha car park, akọrọngwa eji rụọ ya bụ hall bụ ịgba, mmiri na-agba na ya nke ọma, ọkụ latrik na-enwu zaa ma n'elu ma n'ala. Oche na tebụl dị na ya bụ sọ mma, agbachikwara ya nke ọma maka ezi nchekwa. Ọ bụrụgodị na ị chọrọ ịnọ na mbara ya wee mee mmemme, mbara ahụ ga-erute mmadụ karịrị 2,000. Chime Hall bụ sanyere nsogbu gị. Chime Hall dị n'ezi Icheke Abagana Road na ncherịta iru EEDC n'ụsọ Fizz Motel. Ngwa kpọọ ha n'ekwentị a 08088699506. Chime Hall Ọrọfịa Abagana maka mkpali ndụ gị.
How best can we talk about the challenges we are having on our streets, our community, our society in general? Street report. If we do not address these challenges on Ebonade FM, who will, as the happenings around us get as complicated as they can be? Street report is here to make sense of it all. Street report is causing social change across your streets. In your community, Street Report is here with hardcore journalism to get to the roots of our problem. Why don't you join me, Martin Ifanishku, AKCSR number the force, every Friday, 4:30 p.m. on Ebonade 103.5 FM as Street Reports unfolds in your face on Imazine Ebonade Corner 24/7, 24/7.
You're welcome back to Newspaper Headlines on Ebonade 103.5 FM. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080-966661-035. You can as well join us on Facebook as we're live at Ebonade 103.5 FM. Drop your comment on the comment section of the link of the live video. You can equally stream us online via mixlr.com/gistfm. We are on to the Nation newspaper. Abandoned housing projects. Federal government to summon developers, contractors. Umaye explains 21 billion naira vote for third mainland bridge repairs. North elders decry rifts between regions, businessmen, politicians. Apapa's faction loses bid to stop Imo Labour Party candidate. 1.8 million voters to determine fate of Ododo, Meleye, Ajaka, 15 others. Progressives urge Akpoti Udwana to back Ododo. Atiku woos Kogi voters for Meleye. DSS cautions against inflammatory statements. DSS cautions against inflammatory statements. Hotel scarcity leaves INEC officials, security agents stranded. That's the much we can take from the Nation newspaper this morning. Still on the stories making the headlines on Nigerian newspapers this morning from the Nation newspaper, we'll flip over to this day newspaper. Tax. Court nullifies laws demanding 50% payment of disputed assessment. UBA, Saudi Exim Bank partner to enhance business relations, exports. Ribadu calls for strategy. Ribadu calls for synergy of security forces to end menace of kidnap for ransom. Playhouse Clocks 12 launches the Story Hub. Ribadu, we've taken this. Transgender people can be baptized in Catholic Church, be godparents, says Vatican. Masters Energy canvasses increased gas availability to encourage mass adoption of Nigeria's auto gas policy. NNPCL, Russia-Ukraine crisis hindering exports of Nigeria's crude to Asian markets. Passengers stranded as NLC, TUC picket Abuja airport over Ajaro's brutalization. PMAWCA, federal government seeks Africa's collective action for AFCFTA success. Yuletide, Air Peace rolls out additional flight frequencies. Embraer hosts 2023 China Regional Aviation Forum. CIS challenge on capital market utilization to bridge infrastructure deficit. CIS challenged on capital market utilization to bridge infrastructure deficit. Bello, Sheidu, Shabi, helps on exports, AFCFTA opportunities. Adeni, customs monthly revenue surged from 202 billion naira to 333.9 billion naira monthly. Oyebanji, making Ekiti great again. What Onyejocha is bringing to the table in Labour Ministry. TikTok, Enaxi, and Republican presidential battle. Is Tinubu already scheming for 2027? Madoka, Labour Party stands better chance to win Imo Guba poll. And that's the much we can take from this day newspaper this morning. And from this day newspaper, we'll flip over to Nigerian Tribune. The ad guys offers customized solution to help businesses achieve their goals. IPAC rejects Adeleke's OSIEC nominee. Bill to amend the CBN Act scales second reading. Legislative agenda reps to prioritize reforms, national security, accountability, peace accord for off-season elections, seriousness, commitment of candidates in doubt, Abu Salami. NIDCOM tax diasporans on giving back to Nigeria. Sokoto government pledges support for OGPSAP. Revenue collectors sabotaging tax collection in Jigawa. JIRS chairman. Orji at 73. Aid donates educational materials to Abia schools. Others. Student group hails former National Association of Nigerian Students President's appointment as Tinubu's SSA. BOI to contribute 27% of renewable power generation in Africa by 2030. Kogi Guba Atiku urges electorate to vote for PDP's Meleye. Inspector General of Police orders immediate redeployment of 40 senior police officers nationwide. Governor Bago commissions pensioners secretariat in Niger. That's the much we can take from the Nigerian Tribune this morning. That will also mark the conclusion of all that we have for you on this particular edition of Newspaper Headlines on Ebonade 103.5 FM. We will now flip over to our WhatsApp portal to bring you reactions. And this morning, we have this message that says, in all ramifications, the attack on the NLC president, Comrade Joe Ajero, by the Nigerian police force and their cohorts is barbaric. The NLC is always fighting for the welfare of Nigerian workers. Is nothing for anyone to get panicky about. The NLC has the right to call for a salary review, and my take is that government at all levels should urgently look into their demands, for there are certain scales of salary which by any stretch of imagination cannot carry the workers through to the end of the month in the midst of this harsh economy. May God see us through. Comrade Manley Oduago from Odumobosi, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have this message, and this one is coming from Obiora from Okozo, and it says, federal government worries over the rise of cyber crimes. What shows that federal government is worried? What plans did federal government have for the youth to stop cyber crime? Nigeria started witnessing a rise of cybercrime, herdsmen attacks to farmers, terrorist attack, bandit attacks, unknown government attacks, security agencies intimidation to citizens, DSS above the law. And then he says close border for the citizens and open it for terrorists. And he says introduce the Igbos as, okay, he says labeling Mazen Nandekano on others. And he says literate to drugs, so-called the educated to the mud.